Hi, everybody. It's Steve, and I thank you so much for joining me. It's something that came to my awareness the other day is that people really don't know who I am or where I came from, and what makes me really capable of providing this program called Thinking into Results. And I want to take you back into my life. I want to tell you about where I started out, where I got to, and how I got here. And I started off back in 1981 as an apprentice at a Volvo dealership. I got my Class A license through them. And I started bouncing around from service station to service station in local garages all over the city of Toronto for the next 3 or 4 years. And then got into alternate fuels conversions, propane and natural gas. Worked on truck and coach for a little while, drove tractor trailer for a little while, got into forklifts and kind of stayed there for a number of years. And just a little bit prior to 1994, I met a fellow by the name of Adam. Adam and I worked together at a company, and we really kind of hit it off. Adam was a phenomenal service technician, and I think so was I. We kind of showed each other certain things about certain forklifts that we didn't really know, and we just became much better service technicians by the relationship that we had. Well, we kind of departed company sometime before 1994. I started working for one of the major dealerships in Toronto. And next thing you know, Adam comes along in 1994 and invites me to work with him in his company. And he offers me a position as an officer of the company and 25% of the company in order for me to come and work for him. And I thought that was great. And one of the things that I was very adamant about with Adam was that I wanted to be a service manager. I wanted to kind of let go of the fixing of the forklifts every day because that was boring to me. I wasn't growing with it anymore. Um, and um, and I wanted to be a manager. I wanted to learn how to manage. I wanted to do something great to grow our company. Now, Adam and I sat together and we created this great vision of having multiple locations all over the GTA, bringing in millions of dollars every year. And he and I just going from location to location to location and just making sure that everything was being run smoothly. And he and I being on the golf course with customers once a week or something along those lines. Great vision right at the beginning. Awesome vision. And I came on board and we started working, and the company grew very quickly. Very quickly. Within about 4 years' time, we had five road service technicians plus me. And then we had three people in the shop. We also had a bookkeeper, an office manager, and another salesman that was helping Adam move along. And things were going tickety boo up until about 1997, 1998. I started suffering from saturation. And basically, what saturation is that there's only so many hours in a day that we can give to our companies. And I started really losing my energy, losing my ambition. The work was all the same. It was the same routine. I was doing the same things day in and day out. And our relationship, the relationship between Adam and I, kind of got a little more strained and a little more strained. And we were our service technicians were great at taking on more work, but the fact that they were not as experienced as we would have liked them to be, the fact that I was going in and repairing the mistakes that they did, doing it under warranty, doing a lot of policy adjustments and stuff like that. Well, we started suffering saturation, both Adam and I, and the relationship got strained. And come the year 2000, I was completely burnt out. I hit the alarm snooze button as often as I could. I'd get my butt out of bed when I wanted to. It wasn't like I had to be somewhere so urgent that I had to get out there. But I was usually at the job by 7 o'clock in any case. And long days, long hours. My second marriage was in the toilet. Actually, it finished in 2000. And that's what we call diminishing returns. Quite frankly, I was spending more time at my work than I was with my wife, and that, of course, led to situations in the relationship that just caused it to end. And when I confronted Adam and asked about the promise of being a service manager, Adam just kind of said, "You know what, Steve? We have to use our people for their strengths." And here's the biggest thing that goes on with that. When you're blinded by daily occurrences and you lose track of what's going on, you kind of focus on what strengths you know about that person instead of what strengths that person could bring or could perhaps enhance or start and bring to the company. So I left the company in 2000, and 3 or 4 years, maybe even a little bit longer after that, Adam sold the business and closed the doors. So our little vision of a very big entity within the material handling community in Toronto, well, burnt out. So what happened? What happened was that we had a serious lack of leadership skills, both Adam and I, and we didn't know it at the time. You know, we were just doing what 96% of the population do, and that's deal with the circumstances as they come up, deal with the people that we were dealing with, not really understanding what good leadership skills are and using them to our benefit. We had no idea of what paradigms are. Now, just to give you a brief synopsis, a paradigm is a nest of habits that we acquire during the course of our lives. And it's our habits that give us our logic, cause us to do the routine that we do all day long, gives us our self-image, and basically controls pretty much all of our behavior. And all of our behavior is habitual if you really look at it. So if we knew back then how to change the paradigms from what we're doing, the habits that we created to give us that automatic routine that we were on, and look at the habits that are holding us back and changing them into habits that would propel us forward, things would be much different. So we had no idea what paradigms were. As a matter of fact, we were completely oblivious that a paradigm even existed. And the other thing that happened was we lost focus on our vision. That whole idea of having a monster company within the GTA was something that was fantastic, but we got caught up in the daily routine. We got caught up in the daily paradigm that we totally lost focus on what we wanted and just started dealing with what we had. So we started focusing on the current circumstances, trying to figure out how to eke out the next incremental growth, get the next customer, get our mechanics, our shop and road service guys up to speed, and we totally lost track of our vision. So things fell apart. Now, knowing this, if I had become aware back in 1994 instead of 2013, things would have been a whole lot different. So what happens now is that I learned a lot of stuff. I reflect on those days quite often and kind of go like, this is where I went wrong. And I can see how companies and organizations throughout Brantford, throughout Brant, throughout the world, really have the same sort of issues that Adam and I had way back when. There's this great saying, you don't want to end up being the richest man in the cemetery, and that's where Adam and I were heading. So I like to help companies grow. I like to help the individuals within the company see how their paradigms control how they operate and show them ways to work smarter and not harder. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to put in more hours. It means that you just see the habits that are holding you back and you change them into good habits that are going to propel you forward. And, increasing efficiency and effectiveness, personal effectiveness in the process, that's got to lead to some satisfaction of other kinds as well. So this is what I do now. I love providing this program to companies and organizations and individuals. I love seeing them grow. My benefit is that I get to study this material more and more and more every day. Every time a new client starts with me, I start the program with them. Every time a company starts with me, I start the program with them. I learn more every time I do this program. It's never going to stop. Bob's been studying this stuff for 57 years, and he says he understands himself, but he believes he's only scratching the surface after 57 years of studying this material. Man, I'm so looking forward to the growth that I'm creating in the next few months, and I sure as heck wouldn't mind helping you guys get there too. So if you're interested in learning more about what I have to offer, sit down with me. We'll have a 30-minute discovery session, and I'll even buy the coffee. Give me a call. Thanks. Bye for now.